Now, say my name.
The Rolling Bad Podcast.
You're goddamn right.
Coming to you almost live from the Strategium in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, it's the Rolling Bad Podcast, episode number 90 freaking 9. It's October 1st, and I am your host, Elric. Afternoons are my jam. And no, they are not. And with me today is...
Bill, I work to buy plastic, but I don't have the time to work plastic. Castello.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Isn't it, though? I get these paychecks, and I go to the Warhammer store, and I buy stuff that I know will sit in shrink wrap for the next, edition.
You know what it is? You know that they have, what is it, that trifecta? It's like speed versus quality versus cost, right? Like you can't have all three. You have to pick.
Right.
That's like one of those deals. I feel like hobby is like that, right? Like you can have the money, you can have the hobby, and you can have the time, but you can't have all three.
You can't have all three. That's right. Yeah. Yep.
So
that's why those people that actually do it really make me angry.
Yeah. Or the people who do it for a living. But I think you got to be really careful, right? I think it'd be really easy to get burned out.
Oh, God.
And
yeah, like those professional painters, the commission guys that just knock out commissions.
like whole armies, not like one or two pieces.
Yeah.
Like here's a Kairos Fate Weaver, here's an Archeon that I did to a jaw-dropping standard so that you can slot it into your army. It's like, no, I'm going to do 8,000 points of Stormcast. The guy just cranks out like tens of thousands of points of armies that are just stunning quality and stuff. Yep. And I feel like I would love to talk to somebody who does that.
Yeah.
Paints and can do it at a speed and at a quality that, I don't know, it's got to be hard. Because I've seen people in that profession break down their daily work. And you would think okay, you get up at so you work for yourself, right? You work at home or whatever. So it's a sweet gig. And which I think a lot of people right now during coronavirus are finding out that working at home is not
such a sweet gig. Yeah.
He was the individual was talking, and I definitely don't remember who the person was, but they were talking about how you work like 14 hours a day, because you have all this time of answering emails, talking with clients,
making quotes, doing all that,
right? Taking pictures, sending it back and forth, and then the physical painting, and then your media, your social media presence and advertising and all this stuff, and I was like, "Holy cow!" And
it's like real work.
Yeah, it's like it's like running a small business.
Yeah,
exactly. You pretty much devote your whole essence to it. And then they were like, so you take so I charged $2,500 to paint this army, which sounds exorbitant. Yeah, but then I break that down over the hours that I spent doing all of the stuff, not just the physical painting. Right. And I'm making like $8 an hour.
Yeah, minimum wage.
It's like, oh my God, that's heartbreaking.
It is. It really is.
So I wonder what not only motivates those individuals to do it, but how they manage to keep themselves afloat.
Yeah.
And make that their only source of income, right? Not like I work 4 hours or I work 8 hours and then I come home and just mash my head against a wall with a paintbrush kind of thing.
I don't know how you do it. I have mucho respect for those folks that can get that stuff done.
Yeah.
That is crazy because, I was going to mention during creation, this last 2 weeks, I have managed in 2 weeks, to dry brush 4 models and put wash on them. That was it. That was my,
Wow.
And it's soul crushing when you look at all the things you want to get done.
Oh, yeah.
And then realize what you really can get done. So here we are, just, wow. We're whiner. We are.
Starting it off on a positive note.
It's those boys and their first world problems again.
Yep.
They're talking about having all kinds of money and no time. Shut up.
Yep. Try not having any food or drinkable water.
Yeah. Sorry, Flint, Michigan.
Too soon?
Hashtag too soon.
I mean, it's only been like 8 years.
Yeah, but I don't think the water's any better.
Oh, God.
My bad. My bad. Anyway, in the intro, I really would like to request anyone out there listening, that means you, Mom. Mom, Hot Pockets. Anyway, I'd like to get some feedback on the sound quality of the last couple of shows. This one and the one before that, because I had that issue with the metallic tang. So I switched the software and all that stuff. And, you know, when I listen to it, by the time I listen to the completed podcast, I've listened to it like 5 times straight.
Yeah.
So no matter how much I try to concentrate, I drift away on that final run through. And I just want feedback. Let me know if it sounds terrible or if it sounds good.
It sounds fantastic.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. In fact, it sounds so good that I will put on 2 Plus Tough videos and then put our stuff over it, and it actually makes 2 Plus Tough sound better.
Oh, my God. Oh, Doug. Oh, Doug.
I'm kidding. I don't listen to our show.
I was going to say, I know you listen to Doug, but you never listen to us.
I have to listen to myself talk enough as it is.
Yeah.
Sit there and listen to it on my head.
It happens all the time. So, yeah, and also as a corollary to that, you know, if you're going to take the time to throw me some feedback, hey, you know, also, could you leave us a review on iTunes? You know, I hate asking for stuff like that because I really think it's disingenuous.
We haven't done that in a long time.
I know, and I just feel like asking people to join the Patreon. Hey, we have a Patreon, okay?
Hey.
I don't want to do this whole thing of, hey, join our Patreon every week because I find it disingenuous, you know? If people want to throw money at us, they will. Because what do they get for their Patreon membership? Freaking nothing. You get the honor of saying, yeah, I support those idiots, you know?
It's a great honor.
Yeah,
Great
it's
honor.
super. But
So do us a favor and mash that like button and subscribe.
hit the subscribe and the bell button.
Yeah.
I swear to God,
You can
every
get those
video.
push notifications. Yeah.
Oh, I know you have to do it. I mean, it's
Right.
literally how the algorithm works. So I don't begrudge anyone. It's just that, it's got to be so annoying to do that every show. And you can't just can it and do it because then everybody knows it's canned and they think you're really insincere. So, yeah, I know. It's tough stuff. But, yeah, if you can, leave us a review on iTunes or whatever medium you
Show us
listen
some
to us on.
love.
Throw love. And if you want to throw money, feel free. It actually does cost money to put a show on. We have to have a syndication host and all that other good stuff. So, yeah, whatever. Don't feel like you have to, honestly, please.
So now that we're 30 minutes into it,
And, yeah, we've begged and said don't bother at the same time.
I like it.
Wow.
I like the mixed messages.
Yeah, I really do. It's my passive-aggressive way of saying, dear God, help us.
Yeah.
We're 100 shows into this. Almost.
Almost. Well, I don't know, because we did some like
We did a one-off.
episode B's and
Yeah.
stuff. So this
This is like 102.
Oh,
We
wow.
missed
We
it.
screwed it up.
We didn't even have the giveaways. Oh, well, that's over.
Yeah.
I
All
had
right, so
no
our next
confidence.
show will be episode 100 asterisk. And we won't do anything special because we blew it.
Yeah. We'll be
So-
like that missing white dwarf USA issue.
Yeah.
That drove me nuts for ages until I realized what the issue was, what the problem was.
The issue with the issue.
Yeah, the issue with the issue.
What was the issue?
The issue was when they were doing the editions in Britain as well as in America, when they combined into one big white dwarf, there was one number off. So they stayed with the British numbering. So there's like a missing US issue. And for ages, I was trying to find it. And I was like, why is there no information about this? I can't find it anywhere. And then my OCD control freak personality kicked in, and I was truly losing it until I finally went, Facebook, Reddit, and all those places and tried to get the straight poop. And sure enough, it showed up on the wiki one day that there was this numbering schism that happened, and there was one missing issue. And I was like, all right, whatever.
If they would just use American numbers instead of British numbers.
I know. I'm telling you what, Roy, £3, mate. No, it's $3. God.
$3.
I'm sorry. Why do we do this? Why? Why do we make fun of everyone?
Not $3.
Yeah,
3.
Roy, a couple of quid, mate. No, a quid is a thing that runs around in the ocean. Oh, no, that's a squid.
Yeah, no, yeah. No, yeah, yeah, no. Yeah.
All right, let's stop
All
that.
right. That was a train wreck.
Like a clown car train wreck. You just have to watch. Anyway, let's move on to New Dawn because there's a plethora. Yeah, they're going to really hurt me this weekend, but
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what, because it's been 2 weeks since we recorded.
yeah.
This last week we didn't get a lot, but the week before was when they announced.
Yeah, they
a bunch
announced
of cool
all the
stuff. So
yeah. Let me see. This week, what should be coming in Friday, Saturday time frame is the Vertigus or the terrain for 40K, all the different terrain packs headed off by that big Vertigus terrain pack. Then they have the 2 mission packs, one for Crusade, one for, regular old competitive matched play, if you will.
yeah,
Those are coming out. What
that
else?
should be cool.
Oh yeah, those are. I was listening to Sprues and Brews today, and they get a advance, and they were saying that they're very, very good, very good. Nice. And I was kind of, I myself personally, I was a little worried, and I know some other people were that, once you've turned out the book missions, is this thing going to be just a variation of the 6 book or the book missions? And they're like, no, these are really bespoke, very cool missions that have their own little, environment, atmosphere, if you will. So It's going to make it to where if you're a TO for the 40K world, you're pretty much set. I mean, even with they're saying there's going to be more of these, but even with what you got now,
Yeah,
no tournament has to run the same mission pack ever.
that'd be cool.
The whole new mission setup to me is just brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Well, yeah, and I guess it could help you kind of adjust according to the meta.
Yeah,
In that, you got like 1 or 2 army books that are lagging behind, and the reason they're lagging behind is because they struggle with X style of mission. You
Right.
can just, I'll drop X style of mission
Yeah.
and add these others in, and the newer books, will typically be more dynamic
sure.
in their ability to compete based on mission, generally speaking. As long as you're a TO with your finger on the pulse, which if you're one of the guys running these major ones, I can't imagine you're not. So, I think just giving more tools to the player base is good times.
And it really does show in the 40K world what taking that community input, and I'm talking about, like Reese and Frankie and Mike Brandt and the guys from Adepticon, and getting all those heads along with their British counterparts for, London GT and all that stuff, putting those guys in a room and saying, what do we need to do to make this stuff better? And then letting them run with it. And then, hand it over to the game designers and make sure that it meets the criteria. I'm sure they vetted these things quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Because, they work. So, So anyway, that's what came out. The other things that came out, I guess the limited edition novel from Graham McNeil came out, Wrath of Magnus, or Fury of Magnus, or Fury of somebody. Some one of those Primarchs that got really angry during the Horus Heresy.
It happens.
So, it does. Well, let's just go ahead and move on to this week's pre-orders, which are things that we can order on Saturday, which you will have already ordered by the time you hear this on Sunday. So, Codex Space Marines and data cards. Oh, boy.
Yep.
Yeah. Codex Necrons and data cards.
Real quick side note about Codex Space Marines. Apparently it has 98
Yeah.
data scrolls.
Yeah.
98 units in one book.
Yeah. That's mega.
That's bananas.
It is. But, it's like the Stormcast. They have, hundreds. These are the poster boys. There's a little bit of everything in there. You get to that point of you can build any chapter you want. Whatever you have in your mind, you can make.
Yeah, but I bet you the internal balance of Space Marines is substantially better than the internal balance of Stormcast.
Probably.
There's a lot of fat on that Stormcast book.
Yeah, there is. And a lot of overlap.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's I think we're going to see this as long as the old stuff is hanging out and until the Primaris takes over completely. We'll see a lot of this.
It's coming.
I can have either a Devastator squad or a Hellblaster squad, you know.
Yeah.
So. And, you know, the best part of it is they're not Tomb Kinging the old Space Marines yet. Yeah.
Yet.
But, I mean, if you still have your 40,000 points, your entire Ultramarines chapter, you can still play them effectively.
Now,
and real effective.
one thing I've noticed a little bit, because I'm in a few of the like buy sell trade pages and stuff like that, a lot of Eldar.
Yeah.
A lot of Eldar getting moved. Wondering if people are anticipating that one happening in the next like 12 to 18 months.
Well, when they said the next book out was going to be Xenos, you know it's either going to be Harlequins or Eldar. And since
when did they say that?
Oh, it was either during the preview or one of the ones that the next book to come out was going to be a Xenos. After the 4 that they announced, there was going to be a Xenos book come out.
Oh boy!
So, and honestly, if it's not Eldar, I'm going to be really surprised.
Orcs.
It could be, but they're in a pretty good place. They're winning. They need to be quashed.
Hey.
I'm just saying, they're a little OP right now. They're winning events.
Stop it.
They're winning events. Crush them. So, yeah, I'd be real surprised if it's not at least a flavor of Eldari. So,
Yeah.
either, you know, Harlequins, maybe roll Harlequins in with the Eldari craft
Put all
worlds
three.
or
Put all of it in one big book.
Drakari, Eldari. Ooh, I don't know if you could do that. I think that'd be giving the short shrift to Drakari.
Probably.
Nah. I don't know. We'll see.
So we also got some fantastic models.
Oh, you can do the Space Marine ones. 'Cause
Okay.
I want the rest.
So we got the Primaris Invader ATV.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, this one is kind of a device.
Divisive.
Eggs.
Eggs.
Somebody's making
Scrambled?
eggs.
Scrambled?
It is a divisive model, I think I've seen. Although I have to say the Mario Kart memes that are coming out because of it.
So
freaking
good.
Genius. I love you, Internet.
Still, some of my favorites, though, are the backwoods ATV guys. Hold my beer, I'm driving.
Nice.
Oh, God. Yeah,
Duck
I'm
Di-
getting one. I don't care.
It's a Duck Dynasty thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely be getting one.
It is a cool-looking model.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
There's the Primaris Chaplain on bike coming out.
Where have you been all my life?
Yeah. So it makes me wonder, like, how much longer until we get, like, a captain on bike, a librarian on bike.
I think in order to just flesh out the white scars, you're going to need to see all that stuff. And I'm hoping they're in the offing.
Well, we get options for, like, an ancient on bike,
Yeah.
a Justicar on bike,
Yeah.
a Primaris Tech Marine on bike.
I think, a lot of the bikes, after having built some of the ones in Indomitus, you can put just about anything you want on there if you're handy with a saw.
Well, once the multi-part, full-on kits come out,
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be even easier to work with.
Yep.
What else? Oh, the Fire Strike servo turret. Now, this one I think kind of got overlooked because you see that name and you think the great big terrain, well, not terrain piece, whatever, like the huge pillbox.
Yeah.
Looking thing. That's not this. This is the little weapons platform with a Marine standing behind. It can be either what they say a Las Talon, which is like their new Las cannon, like a heavy auto stubber. I forget.
Autocannon.
Yeah,
Double
I think it's
autocannon,
like
yeah.
their autocannon equivalent. And if you read the description, I thought this was crazy because they talk about how the Tech Marines put their sharpshooters in that position, and then they also get the assistance from like all these other things. So I was like, well, they hit on twos, re-rolling ones, and can snipe with a las cannon. Like how ridiculous are these clowns gonna get? So I'm looking forward to them though. I love the idea of kind of like defensive entrenched Marines.
Oh, yeah.
And I definitely want to add that stuff to my Black Templars because I kind of want to embrace, but I love the idea of like the crazy crusading, charge forward, chop them to pieces, classic Black Templar. But I also want to embrace the fact that now Black Templars can take essentially everything except librarians.
Right.
Because I come from way back in the very beginning of Templars where they couldn't take Devastators. They
Yeah.
couldn't take regular scouts. They couldn't take
Anything that was punchy or not punchy.
shooty.
Yeah.
Any kind. They couldn't take predators. They couldn't take vindicators. They
Right.
couldn't take whirlwinds. Anything like that. So the idea that somehow they've kind of evolved to understand that taking the emperor's justice to the enemy by any means necessary,
Yeah.
short of witchcraft,
Mm-hmm.
is a necessary
Yeah.
tool. And I like that. I like the idea of being able to put the Black Templar iconography on my long range tanks and
Yes.
and stuff like that.
You know, you look at Hell's Reach and all that stuff where they were in defensive positions. They weren't taking it to the orcs. The orcs were taking it to them.
Oh yeah,
So, you know,
yeah,
that's a major piece of fluff right there. Or lore, story.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
yeah. And it goes to show you, like, they're Marines, man. They are tactical geniuses.
That's right.
Every one of them, from the chapter master all the way down to
Yep.
freshly indoctrinated Marines. They understand how it all works, and so
Yeah.
the idea of, like, well, I'll just blindly charge across and blah blah blah, and it's like, nah. Like, I'll do that
Yeah.
most of the time, but I also understand sometimes I got to stay put
Yeah.
and let them come to me. You know, it just makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense. I'm glad they're embracing all those different things. Although if I see another Space Marine kid, I think I'll puke. Okay.
Oh, get out of
Got that out of my Twitter.
Bring-
Oh,
here. Bring on all the Marines.
yeah.
I think that's that is. Oh no, there's a bunch of there's chapter specific dice,
Yes.
which looks sweet. There's the Imperial Fist, Raven Guard, Iron Hands, and Salamanders.
Yeah.
So I will be doing my best to get my grubby mitts on some Imperial Fist
Oh,
dice.
yeah. Yeah.
They announced the special edition,
Yeah.
or collector's edition Marine and
Oh.
Necron books.
Yeah. They always have a collector's
Well, it
edition.
seemed like they kind of got away from that.
The
The only reason we got some collector's edition ones is because they came in like these fancy boxes.
Yeah, I
like
think
the-
they're getting away from that kind of thing, the $200 box with, tokens and this, that, and the other thing. And
Yeah,
I haven't seen one of those for quite a while, but they are making the fancy book versions.
right.
This has black gilded pages. I don't know what it's going to, I'll see when the pre-order actually hits, I'll take a look at what it
Well,
really is.
the box is a recent thing. I mean, the Sisters and Realm Lords and
Mhm.
stuff. But if you think, like, BCR didn't get a collector's edition, Oryx,
No.
Bone Reapers,
No.
Tzeentch, KO, like, no
Yeah.
collector's editions for any of these,
Yeah.
even for the last few 40K codexes. This new Necron / Space Marine Army books are the first collector's editions books that aren't in a big fancy limited box.
Yeah.
Since
Jeez, a while back,
Oh.
not the Nurgle one. It wasn't the Nurgle. Oh, the Tau one. Yeah, the Tau one had a collector's. The Nurgle one from 8th edition, the beginning of 8th edition, had a collector's edition because it had all the cool stuff. And I have the objective markers and all that stuff. But honestly, after that, I don't remember a big boxed.
I don't remember one for AOS. I'm trying to remember the last collector's edition for AOS.
Geez, I think that was Khorne because it came with that thing of metal skulls. A while back, not the Khorne that just not Blades of Khorne either. It was the one that came out.
Yeah, I was going to
first.
say, like, probably Stormcast
Yeah, Stormcast had that limited edition. Yeah,
back when they came out with the launch of 2nd edition.
yeah, way back. And honestly, I think they're getting away from that kind of thing because number one, I think, and this is just me thinking,
Uh-oh.
those things have a shelf life, and after a while, people are just a little leery of buying them because of that shelf life. I've gotten away from buying collector's edition books
Yeah.
just because A, I want to use the books, and B, the stuff I get in it is good for maybe an edition because it's themed to that particular set.
Yeah.
And after a while, okay, the Blood Angels tokens that came with the Blood Angels Collector's Edition, they work all the time. They're great objective markers, and they're very, very Blood Angel-y. I would rather see, like, that Dante Collector's Edition book with the novel, and, it had all the cool stuff inside there, rather than paying $200 for the codex and just getting some extra fluffy bits,
Yeah. And these ones don't even look like they come with anything.
No,
It's
I
just a
think they're
fancy
just
book.
fancier books.
Yeah.
So, and again, like I bought when the supplements came out for the Raven Guard and the Salamanders, I bought the collector's edition of those just because I wanted that edition. But I also told myself I'm not putting it up on the bookshelf. That's the book I'm going to use, period.
Oh, well.
I'm not.
For the whole no time you used them because the Space Marines are already getting replaced. That's why you don't do it.
Yeah,
you just don't buy that expensive book.
Yeah.
I learned it the hard way when I bought an 8th edition Warhammer Fantasy Battle Dwarf book, and then like 6 months later, they blew up the old world and came out with Age of Sigmar. I was like, okay, well, I will never do this again. So,
yeah, and it's kind of nutty.
Yeah. Now, in their defense, all these books do come with a code in them.
Oh, yes.
That you can redeem in the app, which we will not discuss.
Nope.
We'll just acknowledge that there is a Warhammer 40K app.
Which is getting better all the time.
We're not going to discuss.
Okay.
We're just going to acknowledge its existence and move on.
Yes. Cool
Anyways.
app. All right, moving on.
So lay it on us. Lay on this wave of filthy Xenos nonsense. Some robot dudes can't. Anyways, moving on. So what have you been up to in
Quit
creation?
worshiping your freaking corpse emperor, will you?
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, here it
Hey,
comes.
look, it's Granddad. He's been in the corner for 10,000 years.
Yeah.
He smells, right?
Yeah, at least we can use psychic powers.
Yeah, okay, sure. Maybe you need them. Little puddin' heads think the galaxy's all yours.
Oh, wow.
65 million years, pal. Anyway,
You guys are scared of bug dinosaurs.
well, yeah. Who isn't? Anyway.
It's true. That is very true. Everybody's scared of Tyranids. As well they should be.
So coming out on Saturday, this is what I said. Saturday is going to be an expensive day.
Yeah, 2 armies that you collect. Well, actually, it's like 12 armies that you collect because, your Salamander / Raven Guard / Blood Angel / Space Marine army.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for rubbing that in.
Oh, it's so good.
So the Silent King. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Don't kill us.
He is a beefcake. And, I mean, he's, it's funny. Again, listening to Sprues and Brews today, and he is just literally, he's the Primaris. He is the emperor for the Necrons, and his stat line shows it. I mean, he is just bazonkers.
Yeah, is it like strength, tough 4, 3 wounds, 5 up save?
Yeah, he's just going to be, and the model itself is just, it's to die for. It is so capturing that new aesthetic that, oh man, it hurts. What are you laughing at?
It's just like I said last episode, man. R.I.P. to those poor guys who thought, like, I want to get Necrons because they'll be quick to paint. I'll just prime them black, dry brush them silver, and dot the eyes blue, and whee! Like, no, man, those new models are
not happening. Yeah, it's just, oh boy. So yeah, he'll go toe to toe with Bobby G, Abaddon, Gazgul.
No, don't say it.
He will.
No.
He'll eat Gazgul's lunch.
Whatever, get out of here.
Yeah.
Gazgul will slap him down, take his milk
Oh,
money.
sure. Like I've seen that happen.
Like he does to everybody else.
Yeah. Not. Anyway. Also coming out are the Lockhurst heavy destroyers.
These are so cool. I love that like rounded bottom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
my God.
Lord.
I want to say these are my favorites, but then I think about the big spindly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
The next guy.
God, the Necrons look so good.
They are
so
just
good.
So over the top cool.
Yep.
And these heavy destroyers are so welcome in the Necron range. Here's the mobile punch for the army that you really need. And destroyer cults are a thing. So yeah, that's going to be fun. And also the Canoptic Doomstalker. Oh my God. So, just think to yourself, what's the worst thing about the Doomsday canon on what's his name? The Ark. And the worst thing about putting it on a really mobile platform. And you have the Canoptic. Oh, Jesus. That Doomstalker is so good looking.
Yeah.
It's got that gun from the Doomsday Ark shrunk down and just basically slung onto his back and says, "Hi, I'm a mobile rocket launcher." I cannot wait.
Good times. Good times. Good times.
It makes me sad because in our narrative campaign, I decided to go with Salamanders because,
Why?
well, A, Salamanders, and B, because the Necron book wasn't out yet, and so access to all this cool stuff wasn't there, and the existing point structure made what was out there a little weird. It was in that in-between place where they were pointed for their new abilities, but they had their old abilities. So it was just like, I'll just wait. I don't, I'm in no hurry. I can do the salamanders. So.
Yeah, but this book is going to be in our midst in like 2 weeks.
And that's what I mean, is if I had just
postpone because we haven't even started it yet.
I know, it's going to start this weekend. So the weekend I order the freaking book. So
just stand by.
Standing by. Stay
just
on
play,
target.
Just play 2 weeks of the old Necrons and then just go all in.
Yeah.
I think that's what you should do.
No, I'm going to.
Because
my January thing was to get the salamanders done this year.
I get that.
And I'm not backing down.
And you're gonna do your salamanders, right? You're gonna be so geeked for them because they look solid, and they're defenders of humanity and whatever, right? And then you're gonna see me playing my Templars, tearing it up, doing what we do, and you're gonna get all jelly, all peanut butter and jelly. And then your Blood Angel Salamander Raven Guards are going to become Blood Angel Salamander Raven Guard Templars.
No.
And then we're going to have to go through all this again.
No.
Just embrace the Necrons. Be the only one playing Necrons.
No, because we already got a guy playing Necrons in the league. So.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, shows you how much I read.
Shows you how much you know. So there's also a new getting started in the hobby magazine coming out, which
what
has
is this? I don't think I actually saw this.
It's just that old magazine that's the introduction to the hobby.
And it has like an intercessor in it.
It has an intercessor, a Necron warrior. I don't think it has any paint or anything, but it's just basically and these are going to be push fit, obviously.
Oh,
it's just one of those well, let's give little Johnny this $8 thing instead of this $30 box and see So, and plus it's also good if you know somebody that's on the fence about the hobby, you pick one of these up, you give it to them and say, this is the geek thing that I do. And as long as they're reasonably accepting, you can bring them into the store, hook them for life, and just know that you've you've extinguished another human soul.
Hey, that's just silver lining. That's one more overpriced college that's not getting tuition.
That's right.
All right.
Yes.
Stick it to the man.
Stick it to the man. Send your money to GW instead.
There you go.
So, and also from Forge World, new weapons and gear and stuff for House Escher. I always say Escher because,
I can't even look at this stuff anymore.
I can't.
I'm just like,
I can't because, after
Necromunda looks so flipping amazing.
After that stupid Necromunda game. And, seeing it
the video game
brought to life,
Right.
And I have to say, I'm waiting for the patches on the game. I'm not gonna badmouth it. I did pick it up again the other day and played it for a little while, and I still was a little meh to it.
Right.
But hopefully there's some patches incoming. So
I tell you what, real quick side note, I finally got internet hooked up at my new place.
Nice.
And I flipped on Inquisitor Martyr. And I didn't realize that they came out with an expansion where you could play AdMech.
Oh, yeah. Kid.
Yeah. Oh, it's been so hard to not jump into my AdMech.
Oh,
like,
man.
No. That has to stay set off to the side. You will not do that.
You know what's really funny about the AdMech character? Your backstory and the way you get into the game, it takes place after all of the other characters have gone through their initial story and gotten their ship. And so they're all like, woohoo, I have freedom to roam the galaxy now. I'm going to do all this Inquisitor stuff. Yeah. And then they die, and you take over for them, and you oh, yeah, this is my ship now, so thanks, bro.
Oh,
kick the corpse off.
I didn't even snap. Yeah, you jump on the Martyr. Yeah, because it's been like a year since I've played the game. I didn't even realize. Because I never got that far to begin with because my internet was spotty. But
it's just this cool little tweak. It's this great little way of, instead of having them go through the exact same initial story on the Martyr, no, they just come in and take over where you left off because you're dead.
Yeah, fighting Tyranids.
Yeah,
which is stupid. Pretty sweet.
Yeah. So I was like, they're fun. I just got my assassin lady up to level 80.
Oh my god.
So yeah.
I think my dude's level 6.
Oh well, yeah. It's funny because the missions stop at 70.
Okay.
And then you kind of have to play the game of running intel missions and running the what's his name, the tarot missions. and some of the different the ones that use the shards. I can't remember the names of those missions. You kind of have to play it weird to get the experience or the level of the mission to where you're going to get good experience. Because if you're level 80 and you play a 70 mission, you're going to get like 500 experience.
Oof.
And you need like 100,000 to level up again. So you have to really play it kind of fun. And it's kind of interesting. It's kind of a grind, but there's a whole different set of challenges in leveling up past 70 that I think make it interesting. So
Nice. All
right. Also, I am not sure, but I heard a thing somewhere that those McFarlane action figures,
Okay.
which one of them is going to be an intercessor. There's going to be like a Ultramarines intercessor, a Necron warrior, and then I believe another unpainted intercessor. I believe those go on sale the 10th of October.
Really?
I think I don't know where I heard that, but I swear I heard it. And it might be this weekend or it might be next weekend that those go up for sale.
Oh, boy.
And then someone said on one of the groups that those things are only going to be available at Walmart.
I doubt that.
But then I saw, why would they be putting it on the GW community site that they'll be available to order?
Yeah, because
know.
they don't put any of the Barnes & Noble
Yeah, like the
exclusive
Blitz
stuff.
Bowl and
Yeah.
the other games that are Barnes & Noble exclusive. They don't advertise those on the site.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just the dearth of information is making me angry.
Either way, getting my grubby mitts on those as well.
Oh,
because that's apparently what I do now is buy the super expensive stuff that you can actually use in a game.
Right, because that makes it,
I'm that guy.
sure, collecting is fun. All right.
That's one word for it. Or a mental illness. I don't know.
There
It's
you
one
go.
or the other.
It's one of the two. All right, let's take a quick break and come back to creation.
Alrighty.
All right.
Ready's such a strong word.
Isn't it, though? But here comes creation anyway. Oh, I have a soundbite for that. I don't remember which one it is, though. Hold on.
Oh,
Yeah,
flailing
they have to sit through this. People have to sit through this.
sausage being made.
Build me an army worthy of Mordor.
What was I supposed to do?
No, it's me
Oh,
being incredibly too stupid to really survive.
well, okay.
Because two of the things that came out last week, one of which was the Quest of the Ringbearer book
Okay.
for Lord of the Rings. And once again, screw you, GW. I hate you with every fiber of my existence.
So good.
Yeah, oh God. Yeah. And I mean, literally, system in there to put together any kind of fellowship you want, change out different people. And there's rules. You can't have, nobody evil can be in the fellowship. The Lord of the Nazgul is with Frodo. Yeah, no, not going to work.
He's got to change of heart, bro. Don't
Yeah.
dictate his narrative.
Dude, I'm better. Okay. So you can set up your own fellowship, and there's a tracking campaign set up.
Right.
So you can achieve different things and unlock different abilities for the different characters and what have you. And like you can't take Alariel or Alariel. No, you really can't take Alariel because she's in a whole different game. You can't take Galadriel, the Undying or what have you, whatever the name is. But you can take just straight Galadriel, and then she will morph into the more powerful one. You can't take Gandalf the White, but you can take Gandalf the Gray, and at a certain point, he dies, and you wait a while, and he comes back as Gandalf the White. And now you're really cool. So,
Huh.
yeah, it's a neat system.
And then you could take Boromir, and then he dies, and he evolves into. Oh,
Yeah, no. But you can swap him out for Faramir. So, or, some other, you could have it be Aladdin or Elrohir, one of Elrond's sons if you want. You can replace all the hobbits who are,
delightful characters that add a bit of brevity to the situation.
4 plucky comic relief guys. Yeah, no.
Hey, Sam is the hero.
And he is the
Yeah.
hero of the book. That is quite true.
He's a gangster who gets
He
work done.
He is. He is the hero of the story. Don't talk to me about Frodo. So, but I don't know. It's just it's such a neat way of looking at it and taking the base game and casting it into a whole new light. So,
You don't like Frodo?
huh?
You don't like Frodo?
I just don't think he's the hero of the story.
Of course, no, he's not the hero.
That's-
Samwise is the hero.
Yeah, I'm not saying.
I
don't like
mean, you
Frodo.
make it sound like the guy who literally goes around trying to hand the ring off to everybody who smiles at
I know
him.
he offers
Isn't,
everyone.
yeah.
God.
Like, oh, Frodo, it's immensely powerful and it'll corrupt me. You want it?
You want it?
No, fam. Like, I'm trying to tell you, like, it probably shouldn't
Yeah.
end up in my hands. Like,
Yeah, don't-
I will literally kill everybody if I get it. So you're saying you want it? Because I'll just give it to
So
you.
yeah, I mean, it's cool with me if you take it.
I'm pretty sure I'm missing my shows back in because I'm out here doing this crap. My D-bag uncle dropped this off on me. The worst inheritance ever.
Ever. Yeah.
So you could just have it.
Yeah, I'm good. I could be done now. I could find my own way back.
I swear to God, if you tell me that there's eagles that could take care of this for us at the end of the story, I'm going to be pissed.
Oh my God, that's so wrong. Oh my God, that's so wrong. But also the other thing that came out was the Imperial Infantryman's Handbook.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, if you never got a chance to get that,
Oh, the new one came out?
the new one came out. Yeah, it's the exact same as the other one. And I mean, page for page reprint, just a different cover. So, oh yeah, but if you haven't read that, oh God,
It's good stuff.
it is.
If you like the British-style comedy
Yeah.
centered in 40K.
Yeah. So anyway, let's move on to creation, and I'll go first because I don't got much.
Let me go first then, because I ain't got nada.
Okay, well you go first.
Yeah, I mentioned this in the last show that I'm
Yeah,
moving. So
You're moving. So.
I got absolutely nothing done. So I'm hoping that over the next couple weeks I can get my everything sorted
Yeah.
and set up a hobby.
Area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some kind of a hobby situation so I can start getting some stuff done because we're going to do our campaign and I would like to
Yep.
get at least get some more stuff built so I can just, even
Yeah.
if it's just gray plastic, so I can
Sure.
have some different options to play with, which
Yep.
would be fun. So, and we'll talk about it in battle, but I got a quick game of 40K in
Yep.
of the new edition, and it just really just gets you motivated, man. The new edition's so good.
Was it really a game?
For me it was.
Okay.
Because orcs always win. And I won.
All right. Anyway, so like I said at the top, my creation consisted of dry brushing and washing 4 intercessors.
Yeah,
So
you did.
yeah,
You dry brushed and
In
washed the crap out of them.
weeks. However, I do have creation content,
Okay.
which you're going to think is lame.
Oh, here we go.
And I'm
This-
going to have to agree because
really?
it is really lame. Except you can go on Amazon, and I will try to remember to put a link. Hey, Bill, put a link to the little things. But I picked up those 2 cases on the shelf. Quit laughing at me.
I just like, how do you punctuate this spot so that editing Bill knows that he needs to add something here? I just thought about screaming. Well, if he doesn't catch that, then we're all in trouble.
Yeah, we're not family friendly anymore. I'm just going to bleep that out and
Just leave it in.
So, but anyway, I have been looking for a good way to hold my AK Interactive paints and my Scale 75 acrylic paints.
Okay.
And you see those 2 purple things?
Oh, yeah, okay. I was wondering what, because they look very similar to they look like larger versions of the Warcry figure case
Yeah.
holders,
Kind of, and that's pretty much what they are, except those are from Amazon. They're called essential oils cases, and they come with the foam already cut in the circles, and the paint pots just drop right in, and perfecto, they're stored.
I was wondering why I smelled sage when I walked into your house.
Yeah, I
and
knew.
began
As soon as I
slathering-
mentioned essential
slathering
oils.
lavender all over my neck sensually before we began recording.
If you are
to help
comfortable enough
realign
in your
my chi.
manhood,
Oh,
well, okay, you know what? Have your wife order it. That way you don't have to be embarrassed. God, or your girlfriend. But yeah, they're essential oils cases, and like I said, I'll try to throw a link in the show notes. But they're super handy, and they hold it's like 80 or some paints, so way super handy.
Yeah, you know what? All jokes aside, I never snapped that those little dropper bottles are very similar to the nonsense bottles that nonsense stuff comes in.
Yep, and
So
there's a lot of the vape shops have those little same type of dropper bottles.
Yeah.
For the small, I think they're like 20 milliliter.
Oh, but
bottles.
yeah. Are you trying to tell me that vaping has actually positively contributed back to society in some form? Oh, my lungs are dying in this room with you.
And I'm coughing because that was that was really dumb to do.
Yeah, that was a Snoop Dogg hit.
Yeah.
The stickiest of the icky.
Oh, and
Bill's got arthritis. That's why he does it.
yeah, it's a
And
condition.
the glaucoma in his eyeballs.
Yeah, it hurts
It's
all the time.
everywhere.
Yeah. If only we were on video, it would be so
man.
much better. But anyway, I also want to talk about the latest asset drop. And I know
Asset drop.
I talk about these a lot, but
Almost once a month.
yeah,
It's almost like they're
Almost.
a subscription-based thing
monthly subscription
that
based thing.
show up in some regularity.
I haven't covered them in a while though, because I know people are getting tired of hearing me go on and on. about
Why
these.
would people get tired of hearing about you talk about, like, this is such a, I think this kind of subscription-based stuff is cool to begin with.
Oh yeah,
And then when you can find one that it really gets into a niche
yeah,
like this, I don't know. I think
Yep.
it's cool. I
it
think
is
it's cool.
They're
So,
super cool.
If people don't like it, then
This month's box, the September number 35 box, really kicked me into high gear because it has three Gamecraft miniature paints. It's got golden brown, canary yellow, and lemon yellow. And the technique for those is how to paint a good yellow. And yellow is a lot of people's bugaboo.
yeah, I was going to say, this
And
is
so,
a
yeah, I
color
want-
that people struggle with.
Yeah, so I figured you would want to take a look at this because I know you want to do Imperial Fists eventually.
Eventually, I
So-
would like to self-flagellate and try to paint that army again.
You gotta love it. Then also in this box was some VMS, which is Vantage Modeling Solutions. They have Oil Expert Enhancing Medium. Now, if you use like oil washes or even oil paints for some different effect, what this medium does is it's a drying accelerator for oil paints. So instead of having to wait like a week for the stuff to dry, you only wait like a couple of days.
So it's like an essential oil mediator.
I never, ever should have said that. Oh my God, I am going to be labeled for life. So also one of the things they threw in the box to, let you play with it. Shut up.
So when you use the stuff, does it like reduce the anxiety of your Marines when you use this essential oil? Does it recharge their crystals for their plasma? Sorry.
I was just going to say it takes Ultramarines and it kicks them down a notch.
Yeah.
But then I thought, well, I was going to say it does something to the Imperial Fist, but they're all dead, so.
Wow. Wow. All right.
Bazinga.
Put rocks in your snowballs over there. Let's get through your essential oils. Come on.
So they also have this thing in there, the spot-on pigments, and they give you a red-brown earth kind of pigment to use with the oil medium so that you can kind of get an idea of what the effect does and what it will do. So that's kind of cool.
So is that for like doing like mud on a
Weathering.
boot
And,
or- Oh,
you know,
okay.
Mudding and weathering and stuff. Because they also give you the oil paint, the Epsilon oil paint for Starship Filth, which it sounds like something it's not. It's a really good sort of generic weathering, like a brownish, almost gray weathering, so it can work just about anywhere in the 40K world. I don't know how good it would be. It'd probably be good for like Karajan Overlords and stuff. Anything with machinery, it would look good on. So
See, I cannot for the life of me wrap my head around oil painting figures. Because like when I think oil painting, I think on a canvas, like really
Yeah.
slathered on thick, vibrant stuff. But then so you pick up a model and it's like, okay, I don't want a thick layer of,
No.
right? Like I
What
don't.
you're doing is mostly what you're doing with the oil paints is like very specific effects like weathering.
Okay.
And so you're thinning it down to the point to where it's like a wash. And the beauty of using the oil paints for that is because they take so long to dry, you can move it around forever. Instead of like an acrylic that would go on there and it's going to dry in 15 or 20 minutes.
Okay.
With the oil, if you do your weathering, you're going to seal your model first. Some kind of dull coat or hard coat or something. And then you're going to put these oil washes on there or these oil filters. And if you don't like the look, you're just going to put a brush in mineral spirits and just wipe it off. And it's going to come off and you're not going to see it anymore. And try again.
So is the only difference then the time to dry?
Well, and the consistency. You can do a lot of things with the oil paints. Like you can take, for instance, this filth stuff. You can mix it kind of, you can thin it down to where it's reasonably thin, but it's like, I don't want to say skim milk, but make it a little bit thicker than that. You can put it on somewhere, say a panel line. And then you would take a brush with mineral spirits and then just start dragging down from that panel line to make the streaks. And if you make a streak that looks really bad or you jostle your hand or something and make it all wavy, again, like I said, Q-tip, mineral spirits, wipe it off, and then just do it again. So it gives you a lot of flexibility in how you apply these effects. You're not going to paint a model with oil paints, I don't think. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there doing it, but you have to really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But for weathering effects and for like, it's great for damage, or spillage, stuff like that. I would only almost use them exclusively for weathering and for those very specific effects that you want.
I guess I'll have to just watch
Yeah.
some videos or something on it because like I mean, I guess it makes sense what you're saying, but there's that part of me that's like, well, why wouldn't I just use like Agrax Earthshade or Nuln Oil or something like that, right? Like,
because the problem with that is like you can't get a realistic streak, a really good looking streak with Agrax Earthshade. It's way too thin, and by the time you're ready to move that stuff around, it's drying. And even if you get it all done, it's going to still leave a tide mark behind.
okay.
So unless you really
think-
scrub,
Okay, I think I'm getting what you're saying. Then.
yeah,
All right.
you have a lot more working time, and oil paints and oil washes and what have you, and the oil pigment washes are completely erasable. If you don't like what you did, if you think it came out crappy, you can go back a day later with mineral spirits and a Q-tip and erase it, and you're fine. You're not going to crush the coats underneath it. Whereas you try that with Nuln Oil, you're going to see where you cleaned it up.
Yeah.
You're going to see that.
kind of stains the paint.
Yeah.
And all that, yeah.
So that's what that's all for. So anyway, this month's box was really, I thought, and the other thing too is it came with 2 weathering pencils, 2 of the AK Interactive weathering pencils. One of them is gunmetal, which is very specific. It's a kind of a darker one, but then the other one was aluminum, and it's bright enough that you can highlight all the gold on your. I highlighted that one salamander with it, and I was just like, oh my God, this is my new go-to pen.
Oh,
It's
wow.
awesome.
Okay.
It just
Could you use it for like chipping armor?
Yeah.
You just do like a quick
That's
little
what I did. Yeah.
nick.
I put little nicks on his foot plates and what have you. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, those things are so cool, so handy. I love them. It was a great box. So once again, I highly recommend Asset Drop. And no, they don't pay us nothing. We got any more?
That's it.
So we're gonna move on.
Uh-oh.
This is where we hold them! This is where we fight! This is where they die!
That might not be entirely accurate.
Yeah, my orcs were like the Persians.
Yeah, my Beast Claw were like, not the Persians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one didn't work out too well for you, did it, Bill?
No, it did not. Because I I took my Beast Claw Raiders, threw the list together on Friday night, played it Saturday, was not amused because randomly drew for scenario. And with my 3-liter Beast Claw Raider army, what did I draw? 3 places of power, of course.
Nice.
Or whatever it's called now. I'm sorry. In the new edition, it's just what, places of power?
I have no idea.
Yeah. But anyway, you had to basically camp it out with leaders. And
Cool.
yeah. And it just didn't work. And I was going up against Fire Slayers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those little stunties. I swear
Tough
to God.
boys. They're tough boys.
Well, what really made me angry about them, and I don't mean angry, I mean just actually livid to the point to where I never want to see them again. And if I do, I will take fire to them.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm kidding. Is they have that ridiculous, like, oh, I not only ignore Ren, but I also reroll ones, but I also don't take Battle Shock, but I also don't. So all the rules that you're playing with, I don't do those. I just exist here with my little 2 wound. Oh, yeah, and I throw my hatchet at you. I throw my axes at you, but then I mysteriously have them back when it's time to fight in combat. Oh, and did I mention I fight twice in combat? Once before you even get to think about going, and then I go, whenever I feel like it. I'm not salty or anything.
Yeah. Show me on the stuffed giraffe where the Fire Slayer
Where the Fire
touched you.
Slayers touch, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
There wasn't a square inch that wasn't beat up.
Yeah.
Woo! It was so I took 2 sets, 2 4-packs of Mournfangs
Uh-huh.
and charged into the Hearthguard because I had seen what the Hearthguard did in the previous game and how tough they were to do anything to late game. So my thought process was get the Mournfang into them on the charge. First turn, get the heavy, get the thunderous charge, get some wounds in there, knock those little stunties off their little feet because they're just too stupid to be allowed to live, and go from there.
Now, did you think about taking the spell that you cast and it does D3 mortal wounds, then you roll, and on a 4-up it does D3 mortal wounds, and you roll, and on a 4-up it does D3 mortal. You seemed really surprised when I mentioned that spell to you, Bill.
Is there something about Beast Claw Raiders that you didn't understand?
Well, it's this book. It's this book called Ogre Mo Tribes. And I don't remember Beast Claw Raiders being on the cover. I think it's an all-encompassing thing. And inside that Mo Tribes book is a spell that does mortal wounds, and then a roll a die, and then it does mortal wounds, and then you roll a die, and it does.
And you know
It'd
what?
be really useful.
Sure. And I could have paid Petrifex Elite if I wanted to win on easy mode. Yeah, but that's not how I roll, pal.
I'm just saying, you have access to wizards in an ogre army, Bill. You might want to look into that tech. I hear it's really good.
I didn't have the Butcher built,
Oh,
and so I brought the Tyrant and a couple of Gluttons as my other battle line.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't have a Butcher, so shut up.
Like how by the end of it, you were like, and I'm not even going to build one just to spite you anyways.
Okay, now let me just say one thing here in my defense on that statement
Sure.
and most of my salt about that whole game. I had consumed far more gin than I thought was humanly possible.
Yeah. that was a lot of gin.
Yeah, that was a lot of gin. So
We'll
Yeah.
blame it on.
I know I played a better game than was on record.
Oh yeah,
It
you
was
really,
just-
you really contended there.
I was in it right up until I started rolling dice. Yeah.
Yeah, right up until you said, okay, let's roll for initiative.
Yeah, pretty much.
Turns out 8 Mournfang charging into, what was it 20?
Yeah, 20. No, I think it was only 15.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
only 15
ridiculous.
Hearthstone.
And then he activated and destroyed
Yeah,
you
and just
before you even
absolutely
did anything.
demolished them.
Ridiculous.
And I brought in one of the magma drops. I mean, I knew I was doing it. It wasn't like, oh my god. But I brought in one of the magma drops. I had to, and I was like, you know what? I'm not too afraid of the magma droth. It's the Hearthguard that I really wanted to get
Right.
thinned down. I knew I wouldn't kill them all. I just wanted to thin them down so that when the Frost Lord on Stonehorn ran up to them, he would be able to finish them off. Well, it just didn't turn out that way. Through no fault of my own. It was the dice. It really was the dice.
Yeah.
Although I was rolling really bad.
What did we learn?
Nothing. I really want to try that list again. I like that list. It's good. It'll be
well,
solid.
yeah, you should definitely play
That
others.
scenario was just hellish for me because it was just bad,
I think you either go full Beast Claw, right? Like in you, whatever points you threw at that tyrant
And ogres.
and ogres, you just throw in Beast Claw. And I don't think that that's like a particular competitive thing, but
No.
I think if you're going to lean Beast Claw, you lean all in. Or you do the ogres and they have like a hint of Beast Claw.
Yeah.
You know, like a Frost Lord on Stone
Flip the other way. Yeah.
or whatever.
Eventually, I want to have a full up ogre.
Sure.
Course.
They're good.
Well, between the lead belchers and then with the spellcasters, they're pretty. Slaughtermaster and
It's
the
a lot of wounds, man.
yeah, it
a lot
is.
of wounds to deal with.
It is, and they have the great,
And their magic is so strong.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was my game.
Cool.
Yeah.
I played while you were doing that. I played a game of 40K.
Yes, you did. Well, do you really want to call it a game?
Oh, it was delicious. It was a delicious game. So I busted out my orcs, which I have not played in 9th edition.
Okay.
And
7,000 of them, I might add.
yeah, so
Were
we
you
played.
using the current points?
Yeah.
Really?
So yeah, we played power level.
Oh God.
We played 100-ish.
That
I think,
was a
I think both of us
mistake.
came up to like 104 power level or something like that. And I brought Gaskell. Gazzy. And then just an absolute metric ton of orcs and knobs and storm boys
Yeah.
and 3 death dreads. And yeah, it was so good. So much orcage on the table.
There was a lot of orc on that table.
A lot of orc.
And that's one of the things I was seriously wondering if you were using, the old points or power levels. I was just like, man, that is so many orcs. I was just like, holy crap.
I was using what was in the app,
Yeah.
back when the app was working. Anyways, I played against Chaos Marines,
Space
specifically
Marines.
the Agents of Bile.
Yes. Who forgot to bile a lot?
What do you mean you forgot to bile?
I mean, they just forgot to bile. They just,
Yeah, it was a close combat Chaos Marine army against
Yeah.
orcs, which I know salty Chaos Marine players will be like, oh, that's a bad matchup. Whatever. Standard Chaos Marine whining. The problem is that he missed every single one of his charges.
I know that was just, that was killer.
Single one.
that was so, and, to have moved into charge range for the orcs.
Yeah.
And then to not get a single charge off was,
That was tough. Tough break,
just-
kid.
I said it before. My game was going to be a table by turn 2, by the end of turn 2. And it pretty much was. We kind of called it.
Mine was a table by turn 1.
Yeah, it was just not going to come out.
Because he moved up, failed every single charge, and then it was my turn. I did jump some boys behind his lines. I deep struck storm boys behind his lines and just sandwiched him between waves of boys and Gaskell with death treads and got every single one of my charges except for one.
Oh, yeah, I was killing.
And now that in the new edition of 40K, every unit that charges gets to fight first.
Yeah.
It was basically an entire 2,000 points of orcs.
Yeah,
Swinging
fighting.
first.
Yeah, it was not.
I killed many minis.
Even I felt bad for Chaos that day. Yeah. I
And
was like, wow.
turns out Gaskell likes to hit things hard.
A little.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't kill Bile, though. Somebody else did that, didn't he?
I never.
Bile died.
Yeah, Bile.
I think you hit him with a death dread, didn't you?
Oh yeah. That's right. He died unceremoniously to a death dread.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but he also ate some wounds when a Hellbrute went nuclear, and just dished out D3 mortal wounds to like the entire battle line.
Oh my God. That was another thing that was like, he rolled for all the explosions on your side and got one.
Yeah,
Then on his side, it was like 3.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
it was good times.
Yeah.
That was good times. So yeah, it was super fun. Super fun to play the orcs. Super cool to see them on the table, But I'm going to shelve them for now and focus on the Templars.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that was just a fun little
Yeah, it was
Throw
just,
it down, see what we got,
yeah.
play around.
So
yeah.
yeah, we didn't even play with like secondaries and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
exactly.
So,
Thank God.
yeah.
Oh, that would have been a 90-0.
So yeah, that was our games.
Yep. So, yeah, at least we got something in, you know. Could have been better. Could have been better. All right, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll jump into, oh, no, wait. I have one more thing in battle. So, last but not least in battle, I want to talk about something I picked up from, I was actually watching Ash over on Guerrilla Miniatures Gaming, and a few Sundays ago, he had this thing from Battle Kiwi, which is a company out of, I don't know, Battle Kiwi. Where do you think they might come from? Anyway, yeah, New Zealand. And it's called the, I don't know, Warhammer. I don't think they call it Warhammer, but it's the 40K Command Tracker. This thing is the coolest thing ever. It's your regular MDF point tracker with, you know, the magnetic dials to capture everything. It's got your command points. It's got how many points you spent on your or gained on your primary objectives. It's got a little round counter. But then the cool part is it's got 3 slots for your secondary objectives, 1, 2, and 3. But the best part is you open this thing up and it's closed magnetically. Inside, they have all the secondary objectives on these little acrylic markers that you then slot into the front of it, which tells you what your secondary objectives are. And they're color coded so that you don't pick any 2 of the same color, because you can't pick 2 from the same category.
Right.
So this thing is just the coolest thing since sliced bread. I mean, it is just awesome. And I thought it was so well executed and so smart of a toy that we just had to give him a shout out.
Yeah. I would like to get my mitts on one of those.
Yep. I think when I order my next thing from them, because I got a couple of other things I want to order, I'll put this on the order.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, when you were showing it to me, I was like, okay, yeah, cool. It's another
It's just a little
spin dial to keep track of numbers. Like, and it just looks really nice.
Yeah.
They're not really reinventing anything. And then you literally opened it up to have all the secondary objective tokens in there that slot in. I was like, oh my God, that is genius.
It is. It's true genius. So I will put a link to the Battle Kiwi site so
Cool.
that if y'all want one for your 40K, and they got some interesting AOS stuff in there too. So
Nice. Okay.
And yeah, so just another one of those cool small companies that, you know, needs love.
Sure.
So show them love. Shall we jump into the lore?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, then. As we started 2 episodes ago, we're going to finish up our Twitter questions. And again, we're going to talk about Zach Mills' question this time. And he asked, what are some resources for fairly new hobbyists, both painting and building and game playing? So this is where I just went, oh, this is going to be so much fun. We could make a show out of just this.
Yeah.
So, and that's what we're doing. So thank you, Zach. I know last time I mentioned, hey, just jump on Facebook. Okay, bad idea. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't
do that. There are, you know, I'd say one of your first stops should be Reddit and the WhatsApp group for whatever faction you're interested in. It's sometimes hard to find the WhatsApp groups that you want to be a part of, because you not only have to find it, but then get an invite to it. So
Yeah, it can be a little tedious
so
sometimes.
it's a little weird. But I mean, obviously Reddit, front page of the internet and all that stuff. Reddit is another one of those deals where you get what you get. Some of the groups are super phenomenal cool. Some of them are kind of salty.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? Like we used to have individual websites for like each faction, you know, and those,
Yeah.
they would have message boards and stuff. And now with the advent of social media, you just have a social media platform and all that stuff has it. So yeah, like Reddit has individual
Yeah.
pages on it for
Yeah.
those individual things. Like Facebook has individual groups and stuff like that. If you're feeling particularly brave, you can
Well,
try.
I mean, there's a few Facebook communities that are heavily moderated and are
Some
really good.
Some are really good.
You know, the independent characters community is like, they are so heavily moderated that I don't want to say anything bad because it's good. It's the way it should be.
Yeah.
They get rid of anything crappy. They get politics, religion right out. They don't even let it through. If it's about hobby, great.
Yeah,
So-
was it that British Hobbit
Great
League?
British Hobbit. Great
yeah.
British Hobbit League.
That's another
is-
one. If you're
yeah.
into Middle Earth stuff, is fantastic. It's properly moderated.
Yeah, it's
Stuff like that.
you're not going to see any stupidity, and even to the point of if you throw a model out there for comments and criticisms, and somebody gets stupid, they get rid of that. If it's
Yeah.
constructive, if it's good feedback, yeah, you can get that. But if it's just someone being nasty for nastiness' sake, get rid of it.
A good rule of thumb on Facebook is if you want to join a group for something and you find a group that's like such and such for adults
Yeah.
or something like, stay away.
Yeah,
Stay away. That's a dog whistle for
Yeah.
We want to be super edgy and cool, bruh.
yeah.
Doesn't mean you won't see cool things there for sure,
Right.
but you are
But
definitely
it's-
going to have to.
A tendency to, Some of the other, and I'm going to list off some YouTube channels here, and we'll chat.
Okay.
So, in the building and painting world, obviously there's the flagship, the mothership. Warhammer Community TV on YouTube has an amazing, I think they have over 1,000 painting videos now, and
Probably,
it's
yeah.
all of the GW style painting. When you're done with one of their videos, you will, if hopefully, walk away with something that looks like what they show on the screen.
Well,
Not like the old days.
and one of the very cool things about it now that they've been doing for a little bit is they will do battle ready
Right.
videos, which is like how to just get this on the table.
Get them on the table.
and it looks decent, you
Yeah.
know, for sure. And definitely with the paint resources that they've added with contrast and base and layer and all that stuff, it's pretty easy to get it to that point. And then they have the parade ready
Yes.
videos, and some of those, like I just watched the Aomer
Oh, yeah.
video, and oh my god, man,
Yes.
just the colors for the Rohirrim are so iconic. That,
Oh, yeah.
that deep burgundy red and that green with gold on the shield.
God, it looks so good.
So fantastic. And it's like a 28-minute video or something where he just
Yep.
paints that one model.
Yep.
And he walks you through all the steps.
Yeah.
So there's that, all the way down to we're going to take a Marine. He's going to be a space wolf, and we're going to paint him like 8 colors.
Mm-hmm.
And this will be battle ready. It ain't going to win any awards, but
Right.
you're going to, if you put an army on the table that looks like this,
Yeah.
it'll look solid.
And you have no one is going to walk up and go, whatever.
Exactly.
So it'll look good.
yeah.
Yeah. The flagship is definitely a huge resource. In addition to, they have their Twitch stream, the Warhammer Community Twitch
Oh,
stream,
yeah.
where, due to COVID now, they're doing a lot of just
Hobby
sit
hangout
and hobby
stuff.
hangout. And, you can toss a question onto the Twitch chat and they'll answer it right then and there, Peach or Wade. Wade is just, he's a damn good painter.
Yeah.
You got Ben on there. He's a damn good. They're all good painters. And Peachy's on there. So.
Yeah, there's no slackers with a paintbrush.
So, and,
At least not any that they're going to let on to the channel.
yeah, and they're going to give you solid advice.
Yeah.
With the caveat that all of their advice, all of their techniques, everything is from the GW system. They do not go outside of their ecosystem
Oh, yeah.
at all. And they deflect comments about airbrushing. And, now that they have Nick Baton on there, they're getting into a little bit more of the other day he was talking about how to wet blend.
Oh, okay.
He's a former heavy metal painter. He's got his chops. He's good. And, but they have shied away from all that stuff. And the reason they've shied away from it is because the average guy that walks into a GW store is not going to be able to follow that video right off the bat. And they have to look at it as any one of these videos could be someone's first video. And if we hit them with that stuff, they're not coming back.
That's
You know.
straight into the deep end.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a method to their madness. There's a reason they do what they do, and I don't begrudge them one bit because they have a great system.
Yeah, but I think with now how they preface the videos with the whole parade ready and battle ready, it gives them the option to we're going to do a parade ready video showing wet blending and OSL and just, those crazy.
It's going to be a little deeper than the other video.
Yeah.
In that same vein, if you're new to the hobby and you don't know Duncan Rhodes, Duncan is the guy that ushered in, or was the presenter for ushering in the whole GW video system. He's the one that, was the first one on the video. If you buy the How to Paint GW Miniatures thing, you get a DVD with it, and he's the guy that does the painting. And he also became quite the celebrity. He has since left GW to go out on his own, and he has the Duncan Rhodes Miniature Painting Academy. You just search Duncan Rhodes, you'll find it. But he does that same style of video, that same kind of approach to painting, except now that he's not locked into the flagship company, he works with paintbrushes from different companies, and he tells you why he chose that brush for that thing that he's doing. He uses paints from different companies because, hey, let's face it, GW paints are really, really good. There's nothing wrong with them. Sometimes some different effects can't be done with what they give you. And he's not afraid now. One of the things they don't do in the GW videos is mix two paints together to get a different shade.
Yeah.
Because they're like, not everyone can duplicate that exactly. So we stay away from it. Duncan's like, listen, you take a drop of this, you take a drop of that, you mix it, it's going to be that shade. If not, adjust it until it is.
Yeah, just monkey with it.
Yeah, he doesn't assume that you are locked into their ecosystem. So he has a little bit more freedom. And also he paints models now that aren't GW models. He has a love for bolt action. So you'll see historical miniature stuff on there. He likes all miniatures.
Lots of Star Wars Legion and Song of Ice and Fire, too.
Yeah, exactly. So he does other things on there. There are some other standouts. One of my favorite ones is Sonic Sledgehammer and his How I Paint Things series on YouTube. He does a lot like the GW system, except he breaks it down and changes the order so that you can get a lot more done in a lot less time. And his approach is so simple and so easy that you can turn out armies at a time with his methods. So seriously recommend Sonic Sledgehammer and his How I Paint Things series. I mean, it's really good. And again, he's not locked into any ecosystem. He'll paint with Army Painter paints, you name it, he'll paint with it. So really good series. You want to hit the next one?
Yeah. So one of my favorite is Juan Hidalgo. We've talked about him previously on the show. Yeah. One of his series of videos is his contrast heavy metal. And what he does is he paints a space marine in the scheme of one of the founding legions using contrast paints and tries to paint them to the highest standard possible, like a heavy metal model.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because it shows you what contrast can do in a different capacity than just kind of like getting things to battle ready like you would with the GW videos and stuff like that. With that shows you like other applications of contrast and just some really cool stuff.
And different things you can do with it.
Yeah.
Different effects you can achieve. Yeah, he's awesome.
I like that. And then, he does other stuff. And then, if you join his Patreon, you can vote on what you want him to do, which is cool. He did a non-metallic metal red the other week.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all reds, no metallic, and it shines.
Oh my
like
gosh.
light is on it. Yeah, and he put that up next to a blue one that he had done a long time ago, a Shovel Knight. And so you have this red and blue model that look like they're under the lights with shining metallics.
Jeez.
There's not a touch of metallic on either one. And for him, that's a big thing because he despises painting blue. It's his bugbear. And I think that's really cool, too, is to see somebody who paints at that level and be like, yeah, if it's blue, screw it. Like, I struggle with that.
He's not going to do ultramarine.
Yeah, even to this day, like, I hate painting blue. Like, I'm just no good at it. I mean, which is not true. His blue is fantastic. But it is something that he his bugbear. So yeah, I really enjoy his videos tremendously as well.
He's amazingly talented.
Yeah, super cool guy too.
There's another channel out there, and I'm going to have links to all these channels in the show notes, so you can just click to them if you want. There's a guy out there called Miniac. He's a strange case.
Yeah, you've mentioned him before.
Yeah,
off air.
Yeah. But the crazy part about Miniac is, and he's changing his format now. He's going to do less videos because, life. But if you watch his videos, you will learn something along the way. And his videos are crazy. They are all over the place. They're funny, but he's serious about getting something done and an effect achieved. So he's having a great time with it. It's funny. It's laughing. He pokes fun at himself and other people. And so you're going to laugh along the way. But if you really watch it, you're going to pick up some interesting techniques from the guy. He's really, really good. He's got a great presentation. He's got a really good, the style, the method, the format is really, really good. Artist Opus.
Yeah, so this is, I hear his voice.
Mm-hmm.
See his ridiculous painting technique.
I know.
Byron, Jesus Christ. Byron Ord.
Byron Ord.
So this is Byron Ord from the Facehammer podcast. And he is a phenomenal painter. All four of those dudes are ridiculous.
He's won a couple of awards here and there.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is him painting on behalf of Artis Opus, which is his paintbrush company and hobby goods. Yeah. And this one, I really like this because he uses techniques that, like, nobody else does.
Yeah.
To a standard that nobody else would use them when they do bust them out.
The dry brush series.
Oh, it's so
the effects that he gets with the dry brushes is
and stippling.
Yeah.
Like when I've seen stippling before, it's usually like stippling on basing material or trying to stipple some kind of battle damage. Yeah. So you don't have to really pay attention to what you're doing, but you do a little so you don't overdo it, but still. And he's just like, I'm going to stipple on turquoise onto this model in such a way that it's like it looks evenly brushed. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
You have to watch the video.
His stip, I can't wrap my head around the stip.
Yeah.
That being said, watching his dry brush game is next level.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I find, for me, watching him do it, I think to myself, like, okay, I can do that. Not to that level, right? Not to that consistency because he's just been doing it for so long. He understands the pressure of the brush. He understands the quantity of the paint coming off of the brush, stuff like that. Like those are things you just learn through practice. Yeah. But watching him, he did a great unclean one, and it was like a speed painted dry brush great unclean one. Phenomenal by the end of it. And it's one of those where you like if you're honest with yourself, you're like, I think I could actually, not as fast as he did.
No.
Probably not quite to that level. But I feel comfortable that I could probably do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And it's cool because you may not think that with dry brush. Dry brushing is you know what dry brushing is? It's eggs. Right? So eggs have gone through phases of like eggs are really good for you. Like eggs are terrible for you. Then eggs are really good for you. Then eggs are terrible. And then dry brushing, it's like dry brushing is the coolest technique ever. You should totally use it. And then dry brushing is for losers who don't know how to paint. And then dry brushing is the coolest thing ever. You know what I mean? It goes back and forth in the community.
It because a lot of times when you dry brush with the wrong kind of brush, you always get that chalky look.
Yeah.
But when you use these softer brushes that most companies are coming out with now, I mean, Artis Opus is the one that actually made custom dry brushes first. I don't want to say first because I'm sure someone else did it better first. But they did it and popularized it. Now Army Painter's doing it. Just about everybody's going to jump on the bandwagon here shortly.
Well, and they embrace the soft brush.
And very soft, like makeup brushes.
Whereas, like dry brushes have been around for a while, but they're always like camel hair.
Yeah.
Really coarse things that you could just beat to hell.
And for ages, that was always the advice. Oh, pick an old beat to hell brush and use that as your dry brush. Well, that leads to a really chalky finish. With like the Artis Opus stuff, not only are you not using a completely dry brush because they give you a thing to wet your brush with.
Right? Like that blows my mind too.
And
but when you dampen your dry brush. Yeah. Mind blown.
Yes, exactly. And yet, when you think about it, Peachy's always been talking about how whenever he dry brushes, his brush is a little tiny bit wet. And I mean a tiny bit. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
even like you could see that the bristles sticking together from the water, not even that wet. The dry brush series is phenomenal. And the effects that you can get with it, and you're right, it's gone through these, dry brushes for babies, dry brushes for beginners, to, hey, dry brushing this model is like Golden Demon stuff, to all back to, it's for babies.
Yeah, well, and I think a lot of that is technology, right?
And the different paints. And one thing I will say about the GW dry brush range of paints, they're really great for coarse brushes. And when you need to get a certain effect, when you want silky smooth dry brush highlights, you kind of don't want to use those very heavy body pigmented GW paints.
Yeah, but if you're dry brushing like a Citadel table worth of terrain,
Yeah, that's
those
the
dry
best
paints
stuff
are
in
perfect.
the world.
Yeah,
Yep.
especially in those hard brushes.
Yeah.
Well, and and that's the thing, right? Is like it started off dry brushing was just get an old beat up brush, right, and just dry brush stuff on. And if you did it right, like it looked solid, but there was always that risk of chalkiness.
Yeah.
And then along came washes, right? So you could wash over the dry brush, and it would kind of help take that.
It would take that look
that off.
away. Yeah.
Right. And then I think like dry brushing kind of slid back into disfavor because of dipping.
Yeah.
So people would like dip and then do a quick dry brush.
The
And it was
dipping
like,
phase.
yeah, okay, you have a painted army. It's shaded. It's got multiple colors and stuff,
Sure.
but like it is very quickly done.
Yeah.
And I think it got a bad name. And now that people have clued in over the last few years over this makeup brush thing,
Yeah.
and the idea of like, well, my dry brush actually needs a touch of moisture in it and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Now the techniques are such that I got to tell you, getting into the hobby now from scratch
Yeah.
with the
So-
brushes, with the brush technology where it's at, where the paint technology, where just GW alone, right, with the base and the layer, the
Mhm.
air paints, the contrast and stuff like that. And then if you're feeling real froggy, you get out into some of these other companies that make like metallic translucents.
Oh,
and
yeah.
all kinds of crazy good stuff and different thinners and
You
I mean,
betcha.
it's like it's just playing with chemistry with colors at a certain
Yep.
point. Like there's so many tools
Yeah.
at your disposal now, whereas like back in the day when we got into it,
Yeah. It was
like
the
you just
foundation range.
you
and
just
a
didn't
paintbrush.
paint. You didn't paint white
No.
because white paint didn't work.
Yeah.
Yellow paint like just didn't work.
Right.
There was just so many colors that like you didn't really oranges.
Yeah.
I don't remember like old
Were-
school orange and yellow armies. I mean, it was
so
rare.
hard to
And-
approach.
And when they were done, right, like you'd see the
Oh.
occasional Bretonnian Knight or Eldar Farseer or something like that in a white
Or
dwarf.
an
It was just,
Imperial
oh
Fist.
my God. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Army.
Or White Scars.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing like the original White Scars, and then you'd be like, oh, that's what I'm going to do. And then you
Well-
bust out the old Skull White. You're just like, what the hell is this?
What
Like,
happened?
how?
Yeah.
Because water didn't really interact with it the way like it does now, and and brushes weren't the same, and yeah, it's come a long way, man, in the last 30 years.
Really, really has.
Like you could even go back a bit more than that to like people painting chainmail models and
Yeah.
stuff like things like that,
Yeah.
the old D&D stuff. So
Yeah.
it's come a long way.
It's
Come a
it's
long
so
way,
much fun to
and
watch.
to get into it now,
Yeah.
imagine. Can you imagine what it's going to be like in another 30 years? I bet you just 3D print it.
I was gonna say
And
in
it just comes out in those
X amount of
colors.
years, it's gonna be like the models are gonna come fully painted, and I mean to a standard that's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like the D&D miniatures that are just mass produced.
Well, okay, even just those, the pre-painted
Yeah.
game, how substantially that has stepped
And
up.
yeah, I don't mean to be knocking those D&D models for what they're used
Yeah.
for. They are fantastic.
Yeah, you go back 20 years and bust out like Mage Knight. Remember like the
Yeah.
original hero
Yeah.
or what was Whiz Kids? Some of that pre-painted stuff
Oh,
versus
God.
pre-painted stuff you can get now.
Today?
It's like, damn, man, this is
I picked up
oof.
those Warlock tiles for the D&D game,
Yeah.
and my God, those are, they're just really 3D printed. Oh my God, things. But the paint jobs out of the box are just
Yeah,
fine. I
I'm
mean,
telling
you don't have to touch anything up. Nothing. Speaking of, did you get the Hero Quest? Did you fall into the Hero Quest trap?
want to talk about it, but yeah.
So yeah, join the crowd.
Oh,
Yeah, Andrew messaged me last night. We were working a trade on the fantasy football league. I'm like, dude, I'm wallowing in my own shame right now. I just jumped on the Hero Quest Kickstarter. Well, it's not a Kickstarter. It's their little.
it's like a pre-order kind of.
Yeah, I'm sure the boxes are already in the warehouses. They're just trying to see how much hype they can generate.
Yeah, because when it dropped, at first I was like, okay, I'll let Bill get it, and
Yeah.
we'll go from there. And I was like, well, you know what? This might. This is super wishful thinking. This might be something I could play with my kids.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah,
That's wishful thinking.
it might be, but you never know.
It's not TikTok on their phone. They
Yeah,
have
it's
zero
true.
interest. So
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe my little one. If I can indoctrinate her at a very young age, keep
Yeah.
her away from those damn phones,
Mm-hmm.
and let her know that there's a whole world that exists outside of like 15-second video clips.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Yeah,
Oh.
I jumped in on it. Anyway, let's move back. There's also I want to throw a shout out to Tyler Mengel, because if you go out on Tyler Mengel's blog, Tyler Mengel does a lot of stuff on the Warhammer community site, because he is the kind of guy that they use to show techniques that go far beyond what they're willing to put out on their videos and what have you. They use Tyler to demonstrate what can be done with mixing the paints and, doing all these different techniques. And he has a lot of these little one-page, this is how you do this effect. This is how you do that effect. So, yeah, super awesome. And Tyler's a great guy. Now, to get into I only was able to really come up with one resource for the building and painting. The only thing that jumped out of my head is there's a YouTube channel out there called Eons of Battle. And they have been around for a long, long time. And they started out by doing nothing but basing. And that's kind of what they do, is they focus on how to make different, crazy, cool bases. They do have a bunch of videos now on hobby tools and, all kinds of things. If you go on their YouTube channel and watch a bunch of their videos, you're going to pick up a lot of techniques for the building and how to base the miniatures so that they look really cool. They go through a lot of techniques. Like Jay just did a video on 9 tools that you have to have and 3 that you should never have. So, it's a really good introduction to the hobby and, kind of how to build models and how to put things together. So that was my big shout out for how to build the building portion of the hobby. And it really was the only one I could think of. Most of the other channels that I have are like crafting type things, DM's Craft and Wylock's Armory and Black Magic Craft, but they're more for building like scenery and D&D stuff. So not as wide range appeal for building miniatures, but still a lot of info to be had on places like that. So when it gets to like playing the game, the only thing I think we agree on that we could suggest would be some of the different bat rep channels.
Yeah.
In 40K, there is a plethora. In AOS, not so much.
Well, we did
a whole podcast on great AOS
Yeah.
bat rep channels.
So if you go back to episode
Yes.
insert number here, Bill, I'm gonna let you do the research on that one.
So at this point, I need to edit the show
Yeah.
and add a show number, like in your voice, though. I'm going to talk like this. Yeah.
Oh, or I could just do like a pre-recorded 78.
What I'll do is I'll call
79.
you and I'll say, Elric, say
Yeah.
87.
And it can't be that long ago.
No, it wasn't.
It's
It
probably
was,
somewhere in
It was
the
in the
90s,
90s, yeah.
yeah.
So for 40K, I don't know, Tabletop Tactics?
Yeah, it's such a good standard. Such
Yeah.
a solid standard.
Yeah.
So
And then branch out from there. I know, like Ash over at Guerrilla Miniatures Games, they do great ones. Miniature Wargaming does great ones. Miniwargaming.com does great ones. Tabletop Tactics is that's the bellwether to go off
yeah,
of.
that's the watermark.
Yeah. So that's where you learn to play the game. We would be remiss if we didn't shout out Zach and his channel.
Happenstance Wargaming.
Yeah. We're going to pause for a second real quick.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, I mean, those are the kind of resources that came to our minds right off the bat when it comes to a new person getting into. If this is your, if you're within a year or two, these are all, I think, good resources. But by no means is it all of them. So if you have stuff, go ahead and hit the Facebook page or hit our Twitters with more advice. Especially in the building and painting miniatures. I don't know a lot of video channels that do like building. I know there's some on like magnetizing tower.
Oh, you know what?
No, tell me.
The name slips my head, unfortunately. But I think there's a channel that I follow where the guy shows how to do really cool conversions.
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
Okay, so actually on the topic of the building and what, not necessarily the painting, there is a channel called Pete the Wargamer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and this guy does some super cool conversion stuff. And a lot of it is actually fairly easy.
Yeah.
May not be too kind on the wallet.
No.
Occasionally, depending on the conversion. But a lot of it is just like simple head and weapon swaps, going through different kits, like taking stuff from Necromunda.
Yeah. Yeah.
And things like that to make a really cool Imperial Guard looking unit, or just all kinds of different stuff like that.
I kind of completely forgot about Pete, but that was way wrong.
So if you're looking for inspiration for the building side, that's a good place to go. He also paints too, but the conversion aspect is pretty sweet.
Yep. But like I said, that's not the do all end all. So if you know of stuff, shoot it to us, hit us, and we'll talk about them. We'll watch them and talk about them.
Give them shout outs.
Yeah, there's got to be more than that. The thing about it is you're going to find a ton. If you just hit some of the major crossroads sites, the Reddits, and you ask, hey, where can I find out about building X faction? The people from X faction are probably going to help you out. Because one thing about this community is, by and large, it's pretty helpful.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you do have to avoid some of the stranger groups. But you'll know them when you see them, and obviously.
Yeah, furries pop out pretty quick. Just kidding.
That's scary. Yeah, but you're right. No. Yeah.
Well,
so
it's like any of those things, because everybody has an equal voice, on social media, that sometimes those extremes, as it were, can kind of pop up. But you just got to be conscious of it. And I think that's kind of why we focus so much on like YouTube videos, right? Is like, because if you just don't like a particular YouTuber, you just don't
turn it off,
watch them anymore, and you just avoid the comment sections like the plague,
exactly,
like the coronavirus. And you should be good. You should be able to drink in tons of information, and not really get tainted with nonsense.
Okay, and as I recall how absolutely stupid I am, because I forgot to mention one YouTube channel.
Oh, get it together.
Because I'm like, it's ubiquitous. It's just the place you go if you want to paint. Vince Venturella.
Oh, geez.
And Vince, first of all, Vince is a Golden Demon painter. I mean, he is phenomenally
Well, he paints
good.
demons in other colors other
That's
than
true.
gold.
Yeah, he does. He's done some red ones. And one of the things he does is he has like different series of videos. So he'll have videos on hobby cheating.
Oh, yeah,
And, he'll take something that needs to be done in the hobby, like how to paint X, or how to paint a power weapon, or how to paint, this. And he'll devote like a 20-minute video to showing you how to do that in the way that, he does it. But then he also has regular videos of, hey, this is how to do all these other things, and, long form videos. And then, of course, he's Warhammer Weekly, so him and Tom get together, and, they usually incite riots and,
watch the internet burn for their pleasure.
Yeah, it's fun, though.
I think one of the things to point out about Vince, his approach, is that he can be very practical at times, which is kind of nice. We talked about when he did the video for his ogre army, he painted an entire ogre army over 48 hours, right?
24 hours, I thought it was.
Oh, yeah, it was 24 hours.
24, yeah.
Over the course of a weekend.
Yeah.
It was a speed painted thing, and it came out really well.
Oh, yeah.
And while he's doing it, and then in the recap, he shows the shortcuts that he took. And some of them are glaring shortcuts if you point them out.
Yeah.
But if you're just looking at the Army, you're really not going to see that. And he explains why you're not going to see that and why you have to be able to be okay with doing that stuff sometimes if you want to get an Army done quickly.
Yeah.
You know, because I think he kind of takes that approach of like,
Faces and bases, you know, it's.
well, he takes the approach of you can sit there and tell yourself you want to paint every goblin in your army
Sure.
to a golden demon standard and never get it done and then be upset with yourself that you never get it done. Or you can get some flipping paint on it.
Yeah.
Right? And be happy that it's painted and realize that when you have 200 of the little guys running around, nobody's going to notice that the red went from his hat onto his face a little bit here. Nobody cares.
Exactly.
You got it painted. You did it well, and it's done.
Not every pupil is dotted. Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah. No one cares.
Yeah.
Because you can't even see it from the tabletop. Yeah, he has that definite approach. And, you know, again, what I'll say, like under Miniac, I'll say for Vince, only in spades, you will learn something from every Vince Ventrella video. Yeah. Where he is trying to teach you something. You know, there's a reason why he's an instructor. He's a painting teacher because he has that ability to convey knowledge to other people in a digestible format. Lots of people can teach. Very few can have it stick. And he has that ability. He knows how to communicate and have it absorbed. Yeah, he's sticky. Yeah. On the Sticky Vince note, we should probably end maybe.
Throw the towel in.
Yeah, because the dogs are starting to bark, and I think the guys might be done with the floor. So it's about to become
90
madhouse.
9 episodes.
Oh, my God. Wow. Whatever will we do?
I think we just call it here.
Yeah.
We leave them wanting more.
Oh, my God.
All 6 of them still listening. We leave them just,
just
so
right there on
upset
the edge.
that they're not going to get the triple digits.
Winter is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's end it here, and next time we get together, we'll be 100 shows old.
Oh, my God.
My joints will be creaking, and I'll feel a little, I have more gray hair than I have now.
So you hit 100 episodes years and years ago?
Oh, wow. So there won't be an episode 100. At least not with you on it.
Yeah.
Ryan, I need you, Ryan.
There you go. You can dust off that old relic.
All right. Thanks, folks.
Stormcast are cool.
I'm hitting record. Okay. I think we're recording. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, don't do that one again.
Yeah, no shit.
Coming to you live. Oh,
You ruin everything. Why must you fail me so often?
Rabs.
Professional. If you would like to get in touch with us, you can reach us at our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/rollingbadpodcast, all one word. Our Patreon page is at www.patreon.com/rollingbadpodcast, again, all one word. The Twitter account for the show is at @rolling_bad. And our individual Twitters are, for me, at Bill Castello, BILLCASTELLO, and for Elric, it's at Elric Edge, ELRICEDGE. All of our guests on the show will have their contact information in that show's show notes. The music in the show is used courtesy of Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com and used under the Creative Commons license. The Rolling Bad podcast is protected under the Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International License. Information for this license can be found at creativecommons.org.